You ever wake up with the song in your head that I woke up today and I knew I had to start packing and getting organized for the road and the move and everything else, but I had that song in my head, the REM song. It's the end of the world, and it's interesting that, yeah, I had that song in my brain, and so it's still there, so I just went with it, and that was the hum I did when I was making coffee. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so this is Dallas Swagger. I don't know how to say his name, but this guy he is a really clean writer. I was really impressed with what I read today, an excavation of neural structure. And reading through this, the word clean kept going through my brain, just clean, clean, clean. And I think he's one of these writers who could write about anything and just make it smooth. This line caught me today. I was reading this. I actually smiled at this. It's like he was peering into my soul. His smile broadens. He laughed to himself. The real audience for any of the humor flowing through his mind. A pun is not told, but inflicted. Yeah, that's pretty much personally my constant state of mind. I blew through the entirety of his posts, and it was it was fun. It was fun. I actually used to date a girl back in, I don't know what year it was. It was ancient history, but she was a really talented writer, and must have been 20 years ago. But I remember I was always jealous of the fact that she could take any subject in the world and just make it interesting. I'm going to link this very post in the profile. I mean, in the description. Sorry, let me wake up here before my brain starts going at least 20%. But yeah, and so this writer has a lot of those things that I envy. I was in a side note. I was in a bar one time in North Washington, and I'm not going to drop names because I can't stand that. But I was having a beer, and there was a guy next to me. This looked like a regular dude, almost bordering on a mullet, right? Beard. I was young. He's older than me, but we start talking and we go into this conversation and a normal two guys having beers, just talking, just shooting the shit. And next thing I knew, the conversation went to a really weird and good place, right? So he starts talking about the inside of a parking brick, like a parking block, like where you would nose your wheels up to. And so a whole universe of life within that structure, that little cement structure, right? The concrete structure. And so we're going on, and he's laughing and I'm laughing. This is a great time. So he splits, he bails, and the bartender walks up and grabs the money, wipes the bar, and he goes, "Wow, what was it like talking to?" But dun dun dun. And I'm like, that was him? No shit. I've read him, and I walked outside just out of curiosity. I'm back then I used to smoke, and I wanted to smoke. I mean, and back then you could smoke in bars, but I really wanted an excuse to go see if I could meet him formally. I'm not really a fanboy, but what the hell? How is that ever possible to run into somebody? And I actually just polished off one of his books I'd never read. So anyway, he was gone. I walked back inside and sat down, and I just thought about it. And then his presence faded, and then all of a sudden here came that parking structure, that brick, and I just kept thinking about that all the way back to Seattle, where I was at the time. So when I read this, it brought me back to that a little bit, that moment. And let's go into this profile, and there he is. I like this name, Unattainable Whale. That's how I feel every morning. Let's see. Yeah. Everybody, if you go on to Pros today, or if you get a new profile, follow him. Look at his work. He's got a really nice style. Dallas Swagger, I'll say. Yeah. And to wrap this up, I wanted to. Oh, by the way, he's fairly new. So I mean, yeah, I don't know. he will probably have a lot of followers, especially with our new updates and upgrades we're doing. Um, Dallas, if you're out there, reach out to me. Send me an email at the pros channel at Gmail. Let's set up an interview with you sometime. I want to do that. Wilmer got a hold of me actually and said, hey, I'd like to do an interview. So we're going to figure all that out for the next place I go to. And so we'll be having interviews with writers. And plus, I'll be able to go live pretty soon, out and about. And we'll have a lot more fun on the channel. That's not a blast for me, but it'll be a lot more dimensional. Let's see. And this is Fudo. Now, I want to say something really quickly here. I say this for the end of the video. We are not, here at the app, we embrace everybody, right? We don't care if you're, whatever you go for. We are open, right? I've actually used my job as a cop-out in conversations like this where I'll still say, you know, who'd you vote for? Or, you know, blah, 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 blah. And I'll just say, you know what? I'm a writer. I'm outside of all that bullshit. I don't care, you know, which sometimes was true and sometimes was not true. And I liked Elvis Presley's response to that girl when she interviewed him, that lady. I forget I saw on YouTube he had that big blue, like, you know, Southern pimp suit on and that belt buckle the size of Texas. And he was like, she's like, Mr. Presley, how do you feel about Vietnam and blah, blah, blah. And he was so smooth. And he goes, whoa, honey, I just prefer to keep all that to myself. I'm an entertainer and blah, blah, blah. And but it was so elegant and beautiful. And, you know, and that's how I've always felt, unless I'm really close to somebody. And I don't like to like espouse my beliefs on people, because nowadays you can throw a rock in the air and you're going to hit some keyboard warrior who knows everything, right? But I also like the satire and the send-ups. What Fudo did here, and by the way, our man Fudo, we love this guy. This is a send-up, I think. It's almost like very Onion-esque, but the way he wrote this was funny, and it was also another reason, like, what a perfect balance of prose for me to have this guy with the thing he just wrote, and then this guy with this. And it's just, I'm gonna link Fudo's profile, but I'm not gonna get into this because I don't have time. But you can tell this is funny. It is just funny, and I want to thank you, Fudo, for posting this, because even though while none of us really care about, you know, as far as prose goes, it's an open, it's a, how do I put it? I forget. I was thinking about doing a microphone shootout on YouTube for my other channel, and I was going to take my Audio Technica 2020 up against my 416 and the 103, and I thought to myself, you know, one, that's just super, I'm an audio geek, it's no secret, but I'm a gearhead when it comes to voiceover. But I was thinking, you know, comparing that first mic to these two would be a bloodbath, but they all have their places, right? And so and I feel that way about content on prose, where, you know, you can have the most highest esteemed, beautiful piece of fiction or nonfiction, just like a literary, just a discourse of just like, and then I can go on and on. I gotta stop. But the point is, this was so funny to me. And when I was reading, I read this, and I was actually really proud to be a part of this app reading this. And again, it's not a political bend for me. It's just simply a swelling with pride that we have that kind of platform for that kind of expression. So, and it will only get more and more bloodbathy. Yeah, that's a that's a good way to put it. You know, hey, how are you? You look very bloodbathy today. Well, anyway, I digress. This has been a great morning for me. You know, I have a lot of coffee to drink and a lot of packing to do, but I want to thank you guys for being here, and I'm going to get out and face reality. So, Dallas, thank you for all your good work, and we want to see a lot more from you. This is not enough. It's just not. 8 is not enough. All right. Before you end up hating my guts I'm going to bail. So you guys have a good one, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Take good care. Unlock the potential of your writing with Prose Gold. Monetize your work and gain exposure to top agents and publishers. Join now and start sharing your stories with the world. Sign up for Prose Gold today. theprose.com.